I'm actually in a good mood for once today. I had a pretty decent day off, got to sleep late, watched a lot of TV, took a couple of naps, ate a lot, not as much as usual, only about half as much as I wanted to because my stomach was upsetting me a little bit. At one point in time, had a migraine, cracked the screen on my tablet, so now it's giving me problems. I was planning to ask for a new one for Christmas anyway, so that's a good excuse. So, yeah, here we go. Ready to bring the excitement? Is it just me or is there some flair on this lens? Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle and this is WNBA Weekly, the show where twice a week, usually on Mondays and Fridays, I will take a look at all of the things that happened recently in the association, tell you how I feel about it, and tell you about all the things I'm looking forward to in the upcoming days. We had a lot of excitement with this week's transaction. Starting on Friday, you have the Atlanta Dream, Angel McCoughtry. She has the second triple-double of the season. 27 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists as they go into that overtime and manage to hang on for the win. You got the Sky versus the Lynx. That was a very close game throughout. Allie Quigley came off the bench to lead with 29 points. But you also had Tina Charles and Sugar Rodgers combining for 50 points. New York's able to hang on for the win. You got the Fever and the Mercury going at it. The Fever are able to get the victory, and they leapfrog the Mercury in the standings. They basically just swapped places. Then you also have the Storm versus the Stars. Breanna Stewart versus her old teammate Moriah Jefferson. Breanna got the best of that matchup, and the Storm also managed to get the victory. Then you move on to Saturday where the Lynx just showed complete dominance. They destroyed the Wings. The Wings offensively, their two best players only had 9 points each. Not a single person in double figures. They were held to just 56 points on the game. While the Lynx, they scored over 90. They had 4 people in double figures, including a Sylvia Fowles double-double. They get a commanding win. Then on Sunday, you have a full slate of action all afternoon long. There were games on top of games. You had the Atlanta Dream handling the Sun as they go on to win their third straight game. You have the New York Liberty easily disposing of the Stars. New York gets their third straight win. You have the Chicago Sky versus the Phoenix Mercury. Both of these teams on a 2-game losing streak, trying to avoid that third straight loss. Chicago shuffles their lineup around a little bit, and it pays some huge dividends. Allie Quigley once again comes off the bench to lead the team. She has 21 points this time. The Sky are able to hang on for the victory, and Phoenix has now lost 3 straight. And then you also have Breanna Stewart once again continuing to impress. She has a game-high 32 points, also adding 11 rebounds for another double-double. The Fever have 6 players in double figures. They're able to outlast the Storm. And then you have the Mystics versus the Sparks. Emma Misa been doing a little bit of everything. She's trying her best to carry the team. She led them in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Unfortunately, they played the Sparks, so she alone was just not enough to overcome all of the firepower that they have. LA had 3 players score more than 20 points. One of them was Candace Parker, who was 1 assist short of a triple-double. LA hangs on to win their 7th straight game. And after all of this weekend's excitement, here are your current standings. Things are definitely getting more interesting in this league. You've got so many talented players that keep entering the fold. You know, Candace Parker, she keeps coming this close to triple-double, this close. Breanna Stewart nearly had one earlier this season. I have no doubt in my mind she's going to have like 2 or 3 before she retires. I applaud Chicago for taking the risk that they did, pulling their veteran stars who have been leaders carrying the team and putting in place the younger players, seeing how well they do. And just letting them show what they've got, and they handled it incredibly well, and they were able to get the victory because of it. There's so much I could talk about, but I'm not sure what you want to hear from me, so the only thing that I really feel like telling you right at this very moment is that if your team isn't performing well, have patience, because there's a lot of these times these teams just seem to be coming in waves. You'll have a 5-game winning streak followed by a 3-game losing streak, followed by a 3-game winning streak, followed by a 4-game losing streak. Everyone seems to be having their ups and downs. I say just be patient and have faith. Once they come back from the Olympic break, that's when it really gets down to the nitty-gritty. So for now, just enjoy great basketball and hope for wins, knowing that a loss right now isn't going to kill you unless you're the Stars or the Sun. Because they're already at the bottom, so it's hard to sink any lower. Though technically, as of recording this, I looked at the standings just to be sure. No one has been officially eliminated from playoff contention at this point. So it seems like technically the Stars could get in, though I highly doubt that. And technically LA, they haven't clinched a playoff berth either. Though let's be honest, for them not to get in, they would basically have to lose every single game for the rest of the year, which seems very much impossible. But that being said, most of these teams have played about almost 20 games, which means we're nearly 2/3 of the way through the season. So it's gonna start getting real serious from this point on. The games that they played before did matter, but the ones you play in the future matter even more. So the teams at the very top, they can afford to fail because they're giving themselves a little cushion, but you'd rather finish at the number 1 seed with a lot of momentum going into the playoffs, rather than slipping down to 7th or 8th and then having to constantly play on the road every single week. And the teams at the bottom, the ones sitting on the edge of the playoffs, they have given themselves no room for error. They've got to come correct every single night. And personally, part of me really hopes that the Phoenix Mercury don't make the playoffs, just so I can be like, ha! But part of me really hopes that they do, because they don't need a top pick. They really don't. They've got a very talented roster. No idea why they're not winning, but they've got a talented enough roster. They don't need a high draft pick. Let them get in the playoffs. So now we move on to what I'm assuming is your favorite part of the show, while I talk about the games I'm looking forward to in the upcoming week. And as always, I will tell you which ones are currently scheduled to broadcast nationally, which means everyone in the U.S. can watch them. So for everyone who doesn't live in the U.S. and for the rest of the games which are not being broadcast nationally, just be sure to check your local listings, or you can catch every single game on WNBA League Pass. Also, the times I tell you are Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you adjust for your time zone. So on Tuesday, we've only got one game, and it's a pretty early one. It's at 12:30 p.m. And you've got the Lynx versus the Stars. The Stars, they're dead last in the league right now, so it's hard to expect that this will be any sort of challenge. But at the same time, the Sun were dead last in the league when they somehow managed to beat the Lynx. So you really can't count anyone out, but I do not expect it at all. Then on Wednesday, you've got 4 games. They're all pretty early. You've got the Dream versus the Liberty at 11 a.m. You've got the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference fighting for that 3rd overall seed. And they're both right now on a 3-game winning streak, so it should be pretty exciting. You've also got the Fever versus the Sun. The Fever, they got themselves they got a mini streak going. They've won 2 straight, and they're facing a Connecticut team that still has not beaten an Eastern Conference opponent this season. You've also got the Sky versus the Sparks. That one at 12:30 p.m. I'm sorry. That one at 12:30 p.m. And of course, Elena Delle Donne versus Candace Parker. That's always going to be exciting to watch. And then the night finishes off, well, I guess the day finishes off actually, because the game's at 3:30 between the Mercury and the Mystics, 2 teams that are both on 3-game losing streaks, and it's hard to put any faith in them right now. But there's one major difference between the 2 of them. The Mystics are still currently in the playoffs. And there are no games being played on Thursday, which means that is the end of this episode. If you enjoyed it, click the like button, leave comments down below. Doesn't matter what it is, just whatever you want to say. Say what you need to say. I'm here for you. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. That way you'll be notified when the new episode comes up on Friday. And until then, this has been The Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. I hope you have a great week.